School called on Friday afternoon at 3:30 to ask how it was all going in the week one of homeschool, and I burst into tears and cried uncontrollably for about 40 minutes.
If you could read my mind, love.
Which I think really sums up how this is going for a lot of us. It made it a good time to talk to executive coach Audrey Wiggin again, who spoke to us before about lockdown trauma. And she talked about how to reset our brain spam filter so that we stop overindulging in all the bad news and focus on some positive things.
I'm sitting here feeling sick to my bones at the thought of homeschooling 4 children. Back in March, everyone was in crisis mode going, oh my gosh, don't worry, you can cancel the meeting. Now, no one's in that mode. So suddenly all the mothers are going, crumbs, what do I do? I think you're right that there isn't really a place for giving kind of trite advice on how to cope. But I think what I've had to do myself is grit my teeth and say to myself, we know this is not forever. This is a vaccine. Back in March, there was no end. We had no idea. But we do know that now. I think the second thing is, and I've really noticed this in myself, every night I watch the news and it's just one piece of negativity after another piece of negativity. And I found myself just starting to turn into a kind of Death Eater, like the Harry Potter Death Eaters, where you just seize on the negative, the downside, the risk. And everybody's talking like this all the time. And I think that was certainly my New Year's resolution, is to say, okay, there are lots of negatives out there and we're all very familiar with them, but I have a choice as to what my brain is filtering. So if you put a bit of neuroscience on it, you have the reticular activating system, which sits at the base of your brainstem, which is the spam filter in your brain. And everything that goes through that, your brain is just tuning in to the bits of information that are important. So if you're at a party, really busy, crowded room, and someone says, Christine, across the room, you will hear it. And that's because your brain's filter is tuned to hear your name. And it's exactly the same with positive news and negative news. And at the moment, I feel like my brain is being tuned to pull the negative. Now, the good news is our brains are plastic and we can rewire them. And the easiest way to do this, and I honestly used to think this was a load of old rubbish, and you hear people like Gwyneth Paltrow talking about gratitude journals, but actually the science and the research is all there. That the easiest way to start is at the end of each day, just to write down, I've got a little notebook since January the 1st beside my bed, and I'm just writing down 3 good things. And the idea is that you're retraining your brain's spam filter to start seeing the positives. And actually, when you look at the science that's been done on this, the effect that it's had on people's happiness and depression is really long lasting, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. The other thing that happens is when you can start tuning into the more positive, you're actually able to work better. So you're more creative, you're more thoughtful. And also the dopamine and serotonin affects your brain's ability to store information, keep it there for longer, retrieve it faster. So there's actually loads of genuine physiological reasons.
The response to last week's vlog was almost overwhelming. And thank you all for your comments, for your private messages, for your sharing. It was really amazing, and it obviously tapped into something very fundamental about the fact that most of us have very little confidence that schools are going back in February at half term, probably not this term. Some people are questioning next term, but I can't even look up the barrel of that particular gun. And until we get teachers vaccinated, there's very little chance that they're going to feel safe enough to go back. Chris Whitty addressed the issues directly on BBC Breakfast. A little bit disappointed he didn't call me himself, but that's okay. To say that because teachers are not at a greater death risk than other parts of the population, they don't get priority. Look, we get it. We have to make really hard-headed decisions. But if you look at the delay factor between the first and the second vaccine, we really are looking at next term. And there's no sense that the people making these decisions, whether it is Whitty or Johnson or Matt Hancock or Gavin Williamson, that any of them are at the hard end and really understand what this means for our kids and their education, what it means for teachers, what it means for stress levels in households and families, and what it means for the wider economy. I think it's fair to say, Chris and I are both at home. We're working at home. We've got a house with desks. We've got decent Wi-Fi. We've got a bit of education between us and can kind of cover some factoring in maths and some Gothic literature if we have to. And yet still, we really can't make this work. And this is a really challenging time. Somebody texted me this afternoon and said, could you let me know whether I'm supposed to prioritise saving my business, which is a good sized employer, or saving my children's education today? To which I have absolutely no answers, aside to have a think about the great.
This is science. Enjoy.
which might be the new Bridgerton in terms of being absolutely mindless fluff with some rifles, some ruffles, some romping. There's even a bear. There's a bear. It gets shot, but there is a bear. Next week, we're going to be doing happiness. No, we really are. We're doing happiness next week. Don't laugh. It's going to be great. See you next week. Just before you go, 3 things. Number 1, we all know somebody who needs a bit of Audrey this week, so please share it with them. Number 2, the education strategy. Please tell me what should be in it, because lots of people are asking me to share the thoughts. And number 3, if you've got ideas of subjects that you want covered in the vlog this year, please let me know. And if you're wondering about this, at least one of them is on Minecraft.